Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, and I thank my friend from Texas for yielding the time. Mr. Speaker, H.R. 74, the Intelligence Authorization Act for Fiscal Year 2011, authorizes appropriations for fiscal year 2011 for the U.S. intelligence and intelligence-related activities within the jurisdiction of the House Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence, including the National Intelligence Program and the Military Intelligence Program, as well as for the Intelligence Community Management Account and for the Central Intelligence Agency Retirement and Disability System. We're considering this legislation at an auspicious time. The death of Osama bin Laden and the disarray in the al-Qaeda network comes as a result of years of painstaking effort by the hard-working men and women of the intelligence community, the military, President Bush, and President Obama's gutsy, courageous, and correct call on May 1st of this year. They succeeded admirably in carrying out a difficult and dangerous mission. This legislation codifies many of the lessons learned in recent years that led to Osama bin Laden's demise. It's important that we continue to provide the necessary resources to sustain the momentum the United States and its allies enjoy in the effort to protect our nation and its citizens. As the former vice chair of the House Intelligence Committee, I personally know that there is the first line of defense against those wishing to do us harm here, at home, and across the globe. Where terrorists or other elements, as we speak, are plotting attacks, planning operations, or are actively involved in harming our citizens, the men and women of the intelligence community are devoted to acting on the information they gather to thwart those efforts. We owe them a debt of gratitude and our sincere thanks. These courageous men and women often work quietly, unnoticed, and too often unrecognized, but nevertheless, they are critical to ensuring the security of our nation. I've had the honor and privilege of meeting many of our intelligence professionals during my oversight travel as a member of the Intelligence Committee. I cannot overstate how much I appreciate and am humbled by their service. Over the past 10 years, our country has continued to make daily progress against threats thanks to the service of those dedicated professionals. We must keep in mind, though, that in spite of our best efforts, we still face many real threats, and we still have much work to do to get it right. Mr. Speaker, H.R. 754 provides detailed guidance and authorizes appropriations for the many agencies of the intelligence community, while also improving accountability and transparency. It is essential that we streamline and coordinate oversight for counterintelligence. H.R. 754 amends the Counterintelligence Enhancement Act of 2002 to require the national counterintelligence strategy to be aligned with the policies and strategy of the Director of National Intelligence. It is often reported that our government agencies come under cyber attack all day, every day, 365 days a year. International criminals, malicious individuals, and even other nations are actively engaged in a constant effort to break into our cyber networks to obtain information, or to wreak havoc on the systems that govern our nation's infrastructure, financial, military, diplomatic, and social networks. We must, of all things, be mindful of our responsibilities in that area. It can have a devastating impact if not properly attended. Finally, Mr. Speaker, we must consider diversity to be a mission imperative. I've stated time and again that the intelligence community is not diverse enough to successfully meet its requirements and achieve success on its missions. On February 26 of 2010, the House of Representatives passed my amendment to H.R. 2701, the Intelligence Authorization Act for fiscal year 2010, which requires of the Office of the Director of National Intelligence, in coordination with the heads of the elements of the intelligence community, to submit to Congress a report on the plans of each element of the community to increase diversity. The report is expected to be finalized in October of this year. Simply put, we need people who blend in, who speak the language, and understand the cultures in the countries that we are targeting. It's time for the intelligence community to get serious about improving diversity for the sake of our national security. If the intelligence community is to succeed in its global mission, it must have a global face. I'm prepared to reserve further comments, Mr. Speaker.